Okay, the time is 2 p.m., so I'm going to call the Tuesday, October 8th, 2024 regular council meeting to order, and I'll begin with a land acknowledgement that the City of Fort Saskatchewan is located on Treaty 6 territory in Métis Nation of Alberta, District 11. We recognize that we stand upon the land that carries the footsteps of many Indigenous peoples, including the Nihilwak, Dene, Blackfoot, Saulteaux, Nakota Sioux, and Métis. And the city honors the first peoples of this land and is committed to fostering reconciliation through relationship building, knowledge gathering, and education. And we're very pleased to have so many people in the audience today. So just for housekeeping, in the event of an emergency or the alarm goes off, the emergency exit is either through the chamber doors and then out the front doors, or if those are blocked, then you would follow us out through the back to the muster point. Just if anything were to happen, make sure you follow staff and they'll make sure they get you to a safe place. So that's our housekeeping for today. We have nothing for consent agenda, but we do have approval of the minutes of September 24th, 2024 regular council meeting. Councillor Blizzard.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the September 24th, 2024 regular council meeting.
Thank you. Are there any errors or omissions? Not seeing or hearing any. I will close the motion. Please cast your vote. And that is carried unanimously. We have no delegations that are registered for today. We have one item on the agenda, so I do have to say if there's anybody who wants to come and speak to that item, they may do so. So I would ask at this point in time if anybody wants to speak to the naming, they would have that opportunity now. And if not, we will go directly into new business arising, new business, city naming registry submission. Andrew Kaiser presenting.
Good afternoon, Your Worship and members of Council. My name is Andrew Kaiser, and I'm the City's Director of Legislative Services. As outlined in the report before you, Council's City Naming Policy and Procedure, Gov 002C, establishes a process by which the names of individuals can be applied to neighborhoods within the city, municipal parks, or other city assets or facilities. The addition of a name to the city naming registry is done with consideration to factors such as, and this is from section 4.1.3 of the policy, whether the name is representative of individuals who were instrumental in the development of the city or have contributed and or participated in a broad range of public service and community activities. Given this criteria, I would like to speak about the application before you. On September 17th, administration received an application for the addition of the name Don Westman to the city's naming registry. The application, which is included in your agenda package, provides an overview of Don's contributions as a city councillor, a corrections officer, and a volunteer with the City of Fort Saskatchewan. Administration has reviewed the application and feels that it meets the requirements of the associated policy and procedure and aligns with the spirit and intent of the same. Administration's recommendation is that Council approve the addition of Don Westman's name to the city naming registry. Thank you for your time, and I welcome any questions.
Thank you. And I don't have any questions, but I do plan on putting the motion forward. So I'm actually going to turn the chair over to the Deputy Mayor to take this point, and once you're ready for a motion, yes. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Katcher. So no questions of administration? Seeing none, Mayor Katcher, I assume you have a motion to make? Please do.
Yes, I do. Are you able to put it up? So the motion is that Council approve the addition of the name Don Westman to the city naming register. And I'd like to speak in favor of it.
Please do.
Thank you. So I've known Don for a very long time. And as everybody knows, sometimes Don and I got along, sometimes we didn't get along, but we've always had community at heart. And as I was thinking about doing this application for Don, I did the research, and because I really wanted to do a complete application so that people would understand that Don spent 31 years working as a correction officer, and 11 of those he served on the provincial executive of Alberta Union for the Public Employees, Local 3, including serving on the Finance Committee. And he served 15 years on City Council, and we served several of those years together. And during his time on Council, he's always been very, very passionate about this city. And I know as a City Councillor, he would always be like, yeah, if we do this, if we could do this. And he always put his finger up to let us know that he had an idea. So he had a passion for history, and he was instrumental in supporting the 1875 fort being built in Fort Saskatchewan. And on council, he used to always say, I don't know why we don't have a fort in Fort Saskatchewan. So he was very, very supportive of that. During his tenure on council, one of his passions was to see Turner Park Campground expanded. And I remember back as far as 2007 when the first idea was presented, and it taken how many years and how much tenacity and advocacy to have this come forward. So Don advocated for the expansion and spoke to it on several occasions, and he encouraged the Lions Club to take over the operation. And in doing that, his selling job or his lobbying to the city was, we bring the money back to the community. All the money that is raised by the Lions Club goes back into community. So how could you reject that? It was great. So it was great that the Lions Club took it over, and then his efforts continued to see the campground expanded. So the next expansion is still underway, and we look forward to seeing that going. So Don was one of the longest serving members on the Capital Region Assessment Board. I understand it was for 9 years, and you brought a lot of information back to council on what the assessment board did and how it worked. And you also served 15 years on Fort Foundation, which is now called Heartland Housing. And that was really about his passion towards senior citizens and wanting to make sure that our senior citizens were cared for, looked after, and making sure that we did have a new lodge that would be built. He is a board member of Pioneer House Club 50 for several terms, serving on the club. And then he also served on what we used to call STSS, or STS, I called it STSS, Special Transportation Services Board. And as many of you now know it as the Lions Club does the seniors transportation. And it was Don and the Lions Club that had come forward and said, you know what, if it's not working for the city, let us take it over and we will make it work. And it has been working very well, thanks to Don and, of course, all of the Lions members who are sitting here today. So as I was doing this research for this application, because I'm the one that said we need good documentation, Don has always been an active member of the Lions Club since 2001. So that's 23 years that he served in many executive positions, including president, treasurer, operating the campground club, and serving on many different parts of the Lions Club. But what really came to my mind is Don always has had community in mind, regardless of what organization he was with. And when West River's Edge was being constructed and the pond needed a name, he suggested the Lions Club. And he said, why don't we put a dock in there? And once again, it was about coming to advocate to say, we don't have the money right now, but if the city actually works with us and loans the money for a couple of years, we can put that dock in. And it's one of the most used facilities that we have in Fort Saskatchewan, I think. He was part of a 3-member team in renovating and converting older commercial building that they've recently purchased on 101st Street. And I see there's lots of great work happening on that right now. And on October 29th, 2014, Don promoted the Lions Club, giving $20,000 to James Mowat Elementary School for the zip line and the playground. And in May 2013, the Lions Club gave $50,000 to the Fort Saskatchewan Library, a major sponsor for libraries in early literacy and learning. And the Lions Club assisted the Parent Council raising funds for landscaping project. Stage 1 consisted of demolition and removal of an old basketball court and paving a new one. And the list goes on, and that they donated $50,000 for renovation of the Families First building. And I can't remember, Dawn, I think you were still on council when we turned that over to Families First. Yes, so supportive of turning, as a member of council, turning the old attachment over to the RC, or over to Families First, and then advocating to get money to convert that into the beautiful building it is. And over the years, the city has hosted a toxic roundup, which many of us have worked at for many, many years. And when volunteerism became very short, Don suggested once again the Lions Club. You know, why don't they take it over? And again, they volunteered for this event for so many years. And I would often come out and see all of you in your white garb, taking the paint, cooking at the barbecue. So, you know, these are just some of Don's accomplishments and contributions. And I'm sure that, you know, if anybody would, like to add to this list at some point in time so that we have good historical recollection of all of Don's accomplishment, that administration would be more than happy to accept any additions to this application. And as I said, I've only known Don really from his time on council, but I've always found him to be heavily invested in moving our community forward. The one that I missed was the RCMP detachment. It was like, build the right one, because I still remember you on that one as well. So, Don, I want to thank you for your service to City Council and to our community, and I want to thank all of the Lions members that are here today. And I would just like to say that I put this nomination forward because I believe that you truly represent what a naming registry name should be. So that's my speaking in favor.
Thank you, Mayor Katcher. Any comments from council? Seeing none, I'll just add that apologies, sometimes I get a bit emotional. I've known Don for decades. I've watched him in action around the community. He is the epitome of community spirit. Don is a significant part of the fabric of the city of Fort Saskatchewan and has been for decades. So without a doubt, I would wholeheartedly support this motion as well. Thank you. I think we're ready to call the question.
You got it.
Oh, sorry, Councillor Abatoy, I missed. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So I'm going to speak in favor of this motion because as I read through the application that was written, I just kept saying, wow, wow, wow. I know that Don Westman is the former councillor that I've heard the most from, just because of his, dedication to our community. And, I think Don is obviously a really dedicated community member. As we've seen, we can see the gallery is full. I don't remember the last time I saw this gallery being full. So it's a testament to how much work and dedication that Don has put into this community. And it's so much appreciated, not just by council, but I'm very sure by a lot of the community members. And our naming registry exists to honor people like you. And I think this is so befitting, for this honor. So thank you, Don. And it's really a great pleasure to see you here and really appreciate everything you've done for our community.
Seeing no other comments, I'd call the question, please. And the vote passes unanimously. Congratulations, Don. Well done.
So with that, I will take the chair back, but I will call a 5-minute recess. Don, would you like to just address anybody or say anything? All right. Yeah, so while we are in a few-minute recess, Don, if we can just get a picture of you and your family members and got just about everybody up there, but I'd like to get you and your family members if we can, and then a picture with you and council. Okay, we will resume the meeting, and thank you everyone for your patience. So Don Westman's name will officially be added to the naming register. So with that, I will ask if there's any notice of motions coming up. Not seeing any. Are there any points of interest? Not seeing any. Are there any inquiries to administration? Councillor Harris?
I'm just curious when South Ford Boulevard, the one that runs into the new area, when that's going to be opened. Looks like they finished the construction. When will that actually be open to the public?
To your worship, I don't have that information right now, but I can provide it to council through an email.
That'd be good. Thanks.
Thank you. So with that, I will ask for a motion to go in camera. Councillor Nguyen.
Yeah, I'll move that council enter in camera for discussion matters falling under FOID.
Thank you. Motion is closed. Please cast your vote. And that is carried unanimously. So now we will go into in camera. Thank you.